Welcome to How to Make It in the City on WBAI in New York 99.5 FM. This is a show where we explore both the practical and spiritual aspects of making it. This show is for artists, entrepreneurs, dreamers, and visionaries who are determined to end the cycle of working soul-crushing jobs just to pay bills. This is where we learn how to live our mission while making a great living. This is where we learn how to do well by doing good. This is where we learn how to step into our divine calling while entering a space of financial freedom and abundance. I am your host, Ama Kari Yawson. In August of 2015, I quit my six-figure salary day job as a corporate lawyer to step into my purpose of healing through storytelling. I now travel the country performing my stories, such as my debut book, Sune's Gift, while facilitating presentations and training sessions for schools, universities, governments, and corporations. Loved ones, it has been quite a bumpy ride, and I have a long way to go. Let's figure out how to make it in this city together. Welcome, loved ones. So, our goal as entrepreneurs, artists, leaders, and visionaries is to create positive change. We aim to make the world a better place through our social movements, products, services, books, film, media, and other works. Our guests today are facilitating positive change in the holistic health market while attaining financial freedom. Let's welcome them. First, we have Shannon Fagans. So Shannon Fagans is the owner of Vision Serenity. She is a transformational coach who combines the practice of aromatherapy, amongst other tools, to promote inner growth. She empowers individuals and teaches the power of using high-grade essential oils for supporting health and wellness, especially for emotional well-being. Shannon Fagans is a married mother of 2 children and a doTERRA wellness advocate. In addition, she has 20 years of experience in the criminal justice field, working in New York State courts. Our second guest, Magdalene Campbell, also known as Magda, believes that lifestyle change can be facilitated through a combination of efforts to enhance awareness, change behavior, and create environments that support good health practices and financial security. Spurred by her own experience struggling with her son's health and also having financial issues, she has devoted the last 4 years of her life to educating communities about how to live a more holistic, centered life while establishing financial freedom. Welcome, Shannon and Magda.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Wonderful. It's great to have you. So, Shannon, please tell us, where did you grow up? And in your early years, did you even know what holistic health was?
I did not. And actually, I'm first generation here. My family is from the Caribbean, specifically St. Lucia, but I was raised in Queens. And I did not follow a lot of the holistic ways growing up, did not have any even desire to learning about it, actually, which is probably surprising to some. But after having my second child, God found his way and things happened, and I found my way using essential oils.
Really? And how about you, Magda?
Well, I was born in Haiti, and I migrated here at the age of 7. So natural and holistic care was something that was known in my home, and my grandparents used it a lot. I was raised by my grandparents. And, needless to say, was after I had my children, I then started to really indulge in that way of living because of health issues that my son was having. So this is something that's very known to me. I'm Haitian descent, and, this is one of the practices that's been in my home for a while.
Well, thank you for sharing. So now please tell audience members who are not familiar, what are essential oils?
Well, essential oils can be found in flowers, barks of trees. It's actually the essence of like plants. It's the bloodline. It's the plant's natural medicine. And so we, in turn, since our body and our cellular molecules are very similar, we can then in turn use those essential oils to help support our health and wellness as well.
And the essential oils are plant-based, so it's very natural. It's just literally the oils are coming from the bark of the tree. And when you look at that process and you think about it, you was like, how, but there is a process. And, and that process is it's the simple way of just extracting what our body needs and the medicine that's needed on a day-to-day health tip.
Okay. So essential oils are, you said, the bloodline of plants. They come from the bark of trees. So these are natural substances found in nature. Now,
Absolutely.
how did you both come to even learn about this, given the fact that, for you, Shannon, you were not aware in your childhood. And for you, Magda, even though I'm sure there was some awareness culturally, it wasn't like it was a daily practice, correct?
Correct.
So please tell us. So how did you learn about it, Shannon?
Well, my daughter was at a play date. We were attending schools, and my son at the time was having a lot of respiratory issues. And another mom came to me and said, hey, have you ever tried any oils? And we began talking about it. Now, at this point, I want to say I was more open-minded, because after having a daughter and then kids back to back and sickness in the house running back and forth and nothing was helping, I was more open to something different. I was also being exposed to things that were different at the time as well. So then it came in at the perfect point for me, I would say. But it took another mom to share with me. And then at that point, my son, who was having respiratory needs, or needed support with his respiratory issues, I should say, I began using this process for about a month, and I saw a lot of difference. Then invited a group of my friends to come over, because I couldn't believe what was happening, because I was just amazed. And I'm more research based, so I like to know facts, and I look deep into things. And this was like something I've never had or seen before. And then so as moms, I've got a collective group of friends, we all started using it. Everyone began seeing similar results, and then that's what started the journey for me. So
now, what were the respiratory issues? Was it asthma? What was he not having trouble breathing?
Yeah, so we have to say that he needed support for respiratory issues, and so we don't because of certain regulations, we can't say it treats or cures anything. So if my hesitation, that's because of those hesitations, but we as mom know what it has done for our family and our home. And so it definitely supports opening the airways, clearing out nostrils, allowing the body to heal, as every plant remembers to bloom when it's supposed to bloom. When it works in the cellular function, it reminds the body how to behave, reminds the cells in those areas how to behave. And then so no need for other support and medication following after those treatments.
Had you tried conventional medication?
Absolutely.
And you were not experiencing good results?
Absolutely. In fact, my son was on a nebulizer with a Buterol 3 times a day at the time.
That's a hectic.
And he hated the mask. Imagine, he was 1.5 at the time, and he hated putting on the mask. And
3 times a day he had to put on this mask?
Yep.
Wow. I can imagine he was crying.
He hated it. He was crying. And as a mom, and I think, there's some tears that come from you that's deep down. I say it's soul tears, because it's warm. It's like you at a point where something has to happen. And I think that's why I was so open.
Okay.
Because that's why I was able to hear the lady who introduced the stuff to me.
And she could tell that he was having issues breathing? Okay.
Yeah, because, at the play dates, you sit and talk.
Yeah.
And you're like, this, we trade stories.
Okay.
And that's when she shared with me.
Wow. And how about you, Magda?
A very similar journey to Shannon's. The lady conducted the class at her home, and I was present. But at that point,
at her home, meaning at Shannon's
home.
Okay.
Yes, and at that point, I was having my own struggles with my son in regards to respiratory issues, and he was also prescribed the nebulizer and that Buterol. And as a first-time mom, I just started reading the labels in the back. And when I started reading and knowing what I was contributing to in regards to later on stomach ulcers, stomach cancers, and I just as as a mom, I was just not settled. And I was like, can I get an alternative? And my pediatrician was like, no, this is it. And when Shannon was able to have this lady conduct the class, and I was like, you know what, I'll try anything. And it was literally a $20 bottle that resolved the respiratory issue for my son. And it was just simply applying it underneath his feet and putting it into a diffuser. He wasn't taking anything internally. And I was really amazed of the outcome that I saw. And from there, I was just like a voice and an advocate for alternatives, because I was like, this is one thing I was prescribed with. And, conventional medication does have its place in America, but I mean, I didn't have to go that route. I went somewhere safer, more natural, and it worked perfect.
Wow. Well, while we're on the topic of conventional medicine, because now at this point, both of you have been in this industry for 4 to 5 years. You've seen a number of people taking it. How does the use of essential oil interact with the conventional medicine, with what your pediatrician tells you to do, what your doctor tells you to do? Because I haven't heard of doctors, and no doctor I've been to has told me use peppermint oil. So tell me, how do these two worlds interact?
So if I may, I would say you want to get your doctors involved in knowing that you're open to doing integrative practices. My pediatrician is on board, but you have to educate as well, as because you have to be the advocate. This is where Magda and myself come in, because we help share the knowledge to help guide you. But nature made it simple. It's not difficult. We've traveled around the world, and doTERRA is an international company. It's in the U.S. that the ways some of the doctors are taught here, they are taught through conventional practices. But other areas around the world, they do integrative medicine. So it's not a foreign conversation. So it's just about us being more knowledgeable, us being advocates, and the way my pediatrician is on board with me using melaleuca and lavender to help with a fungal problem on my son. She'll ask me first, do you want to try it? And I say, yep. And then it's an ongoing conversation, but it's absolutely welcomed.
And, with that said, Shannon, just thinking about my son had the Kawasaki virus. And the Kawasaki virus, there is no treatment for it. It's literally allowing it to take its course from 5 to 15 days. Using the essential oils, I was able to knock it down in 3 days. So, and that's remarkable, because there's certain things that are taking place. There's certain disease and issues that's coming about with children that there is no medication, there is no treatment. It's letting nature take its course. But you have the support of the essential oils to speed up that remedy, and to also make sure that you reduce, whether it is the fever, and whether it is the child's, ability to interact throughout the day, to eat, to get up, to watch TV and still have his spirit. And that's what the essential oils does. It does that speedy recovery. So my doctor, we go back and forth, because sometimes he doesn't welcome, my natural alternatives. But he said, listen, if it works, you're a mom, you're seeing, you're observing this. I trust you. Let's see what happens. And I usually come back with great results.
And that's what it is. You have to build confidence. So when you do the follow-up and they see the results, that's how over the years with me and both my kids, I was able to build that rapport with my doctor, so she can go, because my doctor's in full conversation with me and communication, but it's about us being just in conversation. That's really it, and being responsible as parents with our doctors, but respecting their practice and their position as well.
Okay, so if I hear both of you correctly, the use of essential oils can be engaged in addition to conventional Western practices.
Yep.
But it's sort of an ongoing conversation that you have with your traditional doctor, pediatrician, GYN, what have you. You let them know what you're using, and hopefully you figure out a plan together as to how to attack the situation.
And and there's some things, there's some illnesses as moms, like a stomach ache or a cold, that we know our children doesn't necessarily need to go to the doctor for. That's when you can take your natural medicine cabinet and begin using ailments just to help your child along. Anything that's viral, obviously, it's something you can't get an antibiotic for. So if your child has a cold, which generally will last maybe anywhere from 5 to 7 days, because it works on that cellular function, you can kind of shorten that time frame to about 3 days. And then it always happens that when the sun goes down, the illnesses seems to just get worse overnight, you can now find things to just help until that next morning when the pediatrician is open, when you can go things, how to just keep the fever low. And then you can bring your child in without a late run to the ER with a 1-year-old in tow and another child. And I've been there, and you don't need to do that. There are options. And this is where me and Magda are really advocating for just to raise awareness of all the options that are out there.
Okay, so I think you're also saying that the essential oils may help in some cases to mitigate the symptoms.
It absolutely
And
does.
so
Absolutely.
before you are able to go to the urgent care, and urgent care sometimes are not open 24 hours. Sometimes when you need to wait but you don't want to watch your child suffer, you're using these oils to lower the fever, lower the pain of the stomach ache or what have you, to just basically mitigate those harsh symptoms as you wait for care. And sometimes, in some cases, you realize you don't need official care.
I was just going to add that. I'm glad you added that.
Yeah, because as moms, we know when it's time to get up and run. Yeah, when it's serious, and we know when it's when its nature's taking its course, and sometimes you just want to just speed the time frame, and and don't take the days off of work, because a lot of moms can't afford that, and and that's where I found the natural alternatives work perfectly for me, because I have 3 children. So it's like when you're taking a day for one, it's like everything gets turned upside down, and it's like, what am I going to do with you? How am I going to run the errands and so forth? So it really comes in and just help your livelihood, like literally to know that I can wake up 2:00 in the morning and assist my child and put them at ease, and and know that they can go back to bed.
And just one other thing, we hope, and the moms in our community, we work on a preventative way of living. So when you see a runny nose, don't wait till you also hear the cough. You see the runny nose, take the indicators, because we always get hints. We always know when something's up. We just feel it. And so now if you see the runny nose, you can begin using the immune boosting oils like On Guard or something to help with that. You hear a cough, begin rubbing that breathe on the chest. So we work on a preventative way so that it doesn't have to balloon and you go and you have the need to go to the doctor.
This is a perfect transition, because I'm sure many listeners are wondering, what are the type of ailments that may be mitigated or ameliorated with essential oils? You've already named some. You've named fevers, you've named runny noses, you've named respiratory issues. What else?
Well, I'm just going to preface and say, due to FTC regulations, we can't really name illnesses, but we can definitely say that it absolutely supports if you have any tensions in the head, which we all kind of have an idea what that is. Respiratory illnesses, if you're having any type of pain in your gastrointestinal area, digestive area, if you're having any
joint pains,
muscle pains, absolute support absolute support.
And even dealing with the emotional health, and that's another, I think, sector that we always look to the professionals for and don't address. So now there's ways to look into things a little bit more in depth, and and start having those conversations. What can the natural oils do in regards to the mental health portion as well? So that's like, it's a broad statement, but it's a conversation that a lot of people are having, and we welcome that conversation now as well, especially for children, because we're not looking to medicate our 5-year-olds, but some people are recommending it, some schools are recommending it. So with that, I said, start having those conversations. What options do I have in the natural world for the mental health component for my child?
Okay, great. Can you kindly name some of the oils and what you personally use them for and what your clients use them for?
I'll start with some of my home. My favorite one, and the one I got started in my journey with, is the Breathe oil. That is a combination of eucalyptus, cardamom, and peppermint. And what that does is opens up the respiratory airways. So if you're having trouble breathing, or if you feel like you may be having some sinus issues, or just anything that responds to the airway, using that in a diffuser will just help open up the airways, or applying it directly on your chest. I also use On Guard. I know Magda myself. We recommend any parent with children On Guard daily, which is the immune boosting oil. On Guard is actually also being diffused in hospitals like Vanderbilt Hospital, and as well in their ER, because what it does is everyone comes into the ER with something. All right, and so studies like PubMed.gov as well as aromaticscience.gov, now you can get research to really substantiate what we're talking about. So On Guard and Breathe is my go-tos.
Yeah, mine's is peppermint. I love peppermint. I love the smell of it. It really helps with any tensions in the head. It helps with fatigue, and it just brings your spirit up. And it has multiple use. So anyone who's ever interested in peppermint, you know what I mean. Once you look it up, it definitely have a multitude of usage for that oil. And my other favorite is wild orange. It's an oil of abundance. And it really has an emotional aspect to it, as well as bringing you down when you're having those frustrating days at work. So, I welcome that, those two oils into your world, because those are the ones I love in mine. And also know that doTERRA is a science-based company. So they will offer you the scientific proof that you need. They will show you the research. And, and that's the difference of why we advocate for doTERRA essential oils and not all oils found on the counter, because they're not over the counter. So you would need to speak to someone and actually be engaged by a wellness advocate in order for you to obtain the oils as well.
Okay, great. Can you tell me about the experiences that some of your clients have had? Because you've already told us that for the two of you, coincidentally, to be close friends or best friends, and then both of you have sons that at the same time are experiencing respiratory problems. Yeah, that is very surprising. The two of you would experience it at the same time. Yeah. But you're not the only people who have benefited. So both of you benefited through your sons and seeing them, their situations, their breathing situations improve. What other changes have you seen in the lives of your clients and their children?
One in particular, I've had a person who came over who's had a lot of anxiety about an interview. And she was just coming just to talk, and due to my previous experiences, she came to talk about that. And long story short, she ended up using the essential oil of Breathe, which I explained is good for respiratory issues, but also if you think about someone with anxiety, they get short of breath and they can't breathe. And so she took that to her interview. Before she applied it, breathed it in, breathed it out 3 times, opened up, calmed her anxiety, and she was very successful on her interview. So that's more on an emotional level, right? But then you have families who have skin issues. And that's a big thing. Usually anything with respiratory also has impact on the skin. And so we have countless clients who've used just lavender melaleuca. Lavender melaleuca can help with a slew of different things in the house. It's a great dermatitis oil. And so we've seen a lot of impact with that. I even have businesses that use it in their body butters because of that effect.
For me, I have several clients who came back to me in regards more to the cold and the sinuses times, because we get a certain time of the year where things are more prominent than others.
Okay, so I'm thinking spring allergy season.
Exactly.
Some people are struggling with allergy season.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I have received numerous reports and gratitude towards the mixture of the lemon, the peppermint, and the lavender oil for those seasons. And we're talking literally just putting one or 2 drops underneath your tongue, because you can't take these oils internally, and that's another difference, right? And seeing immediate
benefits.
Yeah, immediate benefits from it, and and that's dear to me. Like when I get those phone calls and the quick text messages, and I was like, Magda, you don't know what you did for me. My eyes is not watering. This is not itching. And I've been on this, I've been on that, and to see that lemon, lavender, and peppermint did it within seconds. It just brings real joy to my heart.
Wow, absolutely wonderful. So now, even though you've kind of touched this, I really want you to discuss this directly. There's some people who are listening, and there's some internet reports that this is all a scam, right? That essential oils are just basically snake oil. This is a way for people to make money, that they don't actually have any demonstrated health benefit, that any benefits that people are telling about it are basically the placebo effect. And for those listening, if you remember, the placebo effect is when just from the sheer belief that something will work, people are able to tell the difference because of the mind-body connection. So some people believe it's a placebo effect. People think, hey, I'm going to spray this on me, or I'm going to put this in my diffuser, or I'm going to put it, in my mouth, or I'm going to put it on my foot, and all of a sudden things will be better. And they think it's better, even if what they're being given is something that has absolutely no medically beneficial properties. What do you say to that?
One of the examples I have for that is because a lot of people want to see something tangible. If you have something like viral, like a cold, I say your body will heal. Our body's meant to heal anyway within 7 to 10 days, even though we can shorten the time frame. But like something like a fungal virus, a fungal bacteria is not going to just heal on its own. It's actually going to spread. And if you're only using that, and because I had a conversation with my podiatrist before for a matter that was fungal, and this is how he and I began in communication. He was fascinated by the use of Melaleuca oil, which is a natural antiseptic, but it also helps on a fungal level. That in and of itself was just help the problem, help support the problem. And so when people can see something that if nothing else was used, it will just get worse, then that's when they can kind of begin, I guess, believing. You have to have the experience. You can't just go by word of mouth. This is something that you have to see for yourself, because we've been in a society that tells us other. So sometimes, like how I was at my wit's end and I thought nothing else would work, I didn't want to try any bush remedies that my mother told me about. I was like, no, I'm not doing anything. And then when nothing helped my son, that's when I was like, okay. Because like I told before in the start of the show, I had no experience and I wasn't even interested in that. But you have to then, I think, just get your own experience, get your own testimony, find something that will give you a reason to believe in that nature made it simple for us.
And that's for me, and I love the question, Alma, because we do get those questions. And, sometimes the conversation goes back a little bit. It could be a little bit tense, but I understand why. For myself, I'm a social worker, and I am not so much, I'm not going to say science-based, but result-driven. I have to see the result. So I remember the first time using the oil on my son, I literally sat there and observed every single process of what the oil did within his body. Because, as a mom, the doctor didn't prescribe me this. So anything I give him, I'm kind of responsible for this. I made this ultimate decision for this little human being to say, I'm going to use this. So for me, I literally observed whatever the steroids was doing, the oil did naturally. And that was the amazing part. And I welcome people to get the experience. And my other testimony was my son, who has somewhat of a, not ADHD, but his focusing at the age of 5 is not where it's supposed to be. And I started using an oil-based IQ Mega for brain. And a month within, his teacher wrote me a letter and said, what is it that you have been doing differently? What changed? And I was like, and I had to sit there and I was like, well, he goes to bed at 8, the food is the same, and what? And then boom, it was, oh my God, I started using the IQ Mega for brain development, brain support. And that was that. So it's like sometimes, even if you as a parent, because we're busy, right? So sometimes the observation is not there. You might not be like myself, a result-driven person, and want to look through every channel to see, how things go about. But for myself, it was like when the teacher wrote and I had to go back and look into that, that was that other testimony part, because it's not only me seeing it, someone else is being able to observe it and get back to me and said, I did see a change for you. So those are the conversations I welcome, and those are the testimonies, because sometimes when people feel like you're selling something to them, it's like you're going to say whatever you want to say, to make it look good or to make it sound good, and which is understandable because, we live in the United States of America, right? So we all are especially in New York, we're fast talkers. So I get that. So, but I do welcome people, to let others observe. See what your aunt say if your aunt used to babysit him every other day, let her watch him again and get those testimonies, because those really changes. They change things for you.
And I just want to add, I have 9 years specifically working in the substance abuse field within the government. And I've seen individuals that I know, now that I'm doing this walk, had they had something different, they would not have been necessarily addicted to certain things. We need other support. This is, my advocacy not just comes from my family or the way of having financial freedom. When you're in the midst of, and have the pleasure of working in my passion, and that's in reintegrating, just helping people with criminal histories. But nonetheless, I see what is happening around us, and that's because people don't know they have options or choices, and they're going to other means, and unfortunately, addiction is happening when that happens.
Okay, so are you saying that people very often do not have social, emotional, holistic remedies for the tension they're experiencing, for the pain they're experiencing, for the anxiety they're experiencing, and so they seek chemical substances that are addictive for that purpose? No,
I think that they don't know they have an option, and they are seeing therapists or psychiatrists or whomever who are trained in prescribing like a benzodiazepine or some sort of opiate or whatever, and on the face of it is fine, but it's the chronic dependence on it. When if I'm in the ER and I need medication to get me to point A and to point B, I'm not denying that. I'm not afraid of medicine, but it's the chronic dependence that we have numbed our bodies to that is the problem. And so we need to create avenues and ways to awaken our public, our society, for our children. Like my daughter, who was nervous for her father-daughter day, and she grabbed the lavender oil. You know, just those moments, those little moments, that's what we need. Just more education around that.
Great. This has been a fascinating first half. We will take a musical break. Thank you so much. But stay tuned to hear more from Magda and Shannon on how to heal and be healed using essential oils.
Looking out on the morning rain, I used to feel so uninspired, and when I knew I had to face another day, Lord, it made me feel so tired. Before the day I met you, life was so unkind, and you're the key to my peace of mind, 'cause you make me feel.
Welcome back. You are listening to How to Make It in the City on 99.5 FM WBAI Radio in New York City. You just heard Aretha Franklin singing Natural Woman. May she rest in peace. We are continuing our conversation with two holistic health advocates, Ms. Shannon Fagans and Ms. Magdaloni Campbell, who we will be referring to as Magda. Welcome back, ladies.
Hi.
Hi, thank you.
Great. So during the first half, you told us all about your own personal experiences in using essential oils to heal your children who are struggling with respiratory illnesses, and how that really became a trigger in your lives for learning more about essential oils generally and holistic health even more generally.
Yes.
So now please tell us about the entrepreneurship aspect. Throughout the conversation, you mentioned a certain brand or company which makes essential oils, doTERRA. And I believe doTERRA is a multi-level marketing or multi-level networking company.
Correct.
Please tell us about doTERRA and about multi-level marketing.
Want me to take that? Okay.
So it's Shannon speaking now.
Yeah, so doTERRA is a company that's been around for 10 years. This will be their 10th year. And in regards to being a multi-level marketing company, that is correct. And what it does, it depends on advocates like myself and Magda to introduce essential oils to individuals and families. Does that answer your question?
Yes, but how exactly does it work? Why is it called multi-level marketing? Isn't it just you buy oils from doTERRA, you sell those oils and move on? If that's the case, why does it fall into this other category?
Well, from my understanding with doTERRA, it being a multi-level marketing company, if the oils were sold on a shelf at a store, it's going to be really difficult for someone to be able to understand the full value of doTERRA essential oils, because doTERRA makes a high-grade oil which they call certified pure therapeutic grade, which is different from essential oils that you'll get from another store, which is just meant for maybe just the aroma. So these are essentially natural medicine. So there is a bit of understanding that comes with it. So so a wellness advocate will get paid essentially for introducing it to other families or individuals, and that's all optional. You can absolutely just be a customer with doTERRA. I started off as a customer with doTERRA, and after I fell in love with the opportunity, then I began doing it more as a business. But yes, as you refer, you grow.
Okay, and now it's my understanding that the referral is not just referring other customers, but also referring other people who become doTERRA advocates. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I believe that multi-level marketing or network marketing is distinguished from other companies because the individuals who represent the company do not just get paid from sales of the product, they also get paid through their ability to introduce other people who will sell the products or other representatives or members or what have you. So now please tell us, how does it work financially in terms of becoming a doTERRA representative?
Magda speaking. Well, it works great. We are now at a place in the world where additional financial assistance is needed for almost everyone. And I think a lot of people are thinking, how do I get out of that box? How do I move forward? How do I start a business or get a little bit of extra? And when I first was introduced to doTERRA and the business aspect of it, multi-level marketing wasn't the I used to say it was a MLM, and I know that was like a bad terminology. People use it, and it's like a stigma to it when you make that statement. And for me, it was like, okay, how do I play in this role? Like, what is it that they want me to do, and what is the opportunity? So I really had to think about entrepreneurship, right? Because when we starting a business, you need a certain you need a foundation, and that foundation usually starts off, with having a certain amount of money. And what doTERRA introduced is the ability to be a part of a business that is one humanitarian, because that's big for me. They have a gift bag that they provide every single country that they extract their oils from. That is phenomenal, and that's what touched me. So it's like, how do I do something in that sector, in a humanitarian world, but at the same token benefit off of it? So they literally telling you, okay, you know what, you could be a part of my business, you can introduce others to the business, and if you want to even call it a fee, I don't call it a fee because I use the oils monthly in my home. So I have to purchase about $100 worth of products a month to keep my business going. That is very minimal to what a real entrepreneurship business or someone who's starting from the grounds up, would have to provide on a monthly basis to keep a business going. And the rewards that you get, or how your business grows throughout the years with doTERRA, you could be in a very good financial place because they are very honest. They're very open. The education is there. And I've heard horror stories about multi-level marketing business. I've never been in many. This is my one and only because of the love and the education that doTERRA has provided for me and what I'm able to share with others. Because I think sometimes when we say the MLM or the multi-level marketing, it's like you're pushing someone to get something that they don't need. And at this point with doTERRA and what we're facing here in the pharmaceutical world, I think the language and people wanting to have a better lifestyle, wanting to live longer, wanting to be healthier. The information that you're sharing and you're getting, compensated for is information that is needed to better somebody's life. So to me, even though doTERRA chose to go multi-level marketing to use that process to introduce their product, I think it works because the education and the community that you build is what's going to help you keep your business going as well.
And this is Shannon speaking. And that model also, there's many people on fixed incomes and essential oils is not covered through insurance. And so there are people who choose to use natural ways. And by them sharing just to 3 people, they can have the essential oils paid for. So some people rely on this and they want to give themselves a choice and an option. So being able to have a reward back so you could be able to use just natural products is a way some people actually live. Maybe not so much here in New York, but we definitely see it in other places in the country as well.
Great. So now, Magda, tell us more about the process. You told us one aspect, which was $100 a month is what you need as a baseline of products you purchase or the amount of dollars of products you purchase in order to keep the business. But what else was involved in becoming a doTERRA wellness advocate?
Educating yourself about the product, using the product, because doTERRA believes the best way you can share something is if you had a testimony. Just like your earlier question to us was like, okay, what is your client saying, Magda? What are you saying? What did you see in your home that made you become an advocate for this? And it's those testimonies, and the only way I'm going to get the testimonies by using the product. So that's why they make it the baseline, and it's education. I remember the first time I went to one of their seminars, and you had individuals from all over. You had high school dropout. You had Columbia graduate of PhDs. You had attorneys. You had a single mom. You had a dad. So it's like you're sitting here and you're like, wow, there's no one person doing this. But the baseline behind them saying, I'm going to do the business was the testimonies that they had of their own, in their own home, from their friends and families, and the lives that they had changed with using the oils. So the education component, the $100, and just sharing the information is literally what the business of doTERRA looked like. And then at some point as you change ranks, they kind of expect more from you. So they challenge you. They want you to go out there and do seminars. They want you to create classes for others. They want you to travel the country and introduce it. So to me, it's like, wow, they're giving me a platform of self-development, because that's the number one and that's the biggest thing in doTERRA is self-development, learning who you are, going into that inner child that you never got resolved, that you're carrying the load with, and that doesn't allow you to break out and be the best of who you are. So doTERRA tells everyone, that aspect of you, challenge it, bring it out, remove yourself from it, be who you need to be. And for me, I really can't even explain how that's like a multi-level marketing from the horror stories that I hear from others. The way the system is set where everybody is just like shortchanging people, sneaky things are happening behind the table. So it's like, and then here I come talking about doTERRA being multi-level, and they're like, no, it's almost like a placebo. Like, you're making this up. This is all in your head. It's not happening. And, and the challenges that I have seen and the results that I have seen in my growth level, entering this business has been phenomenal.
Magda said something earlier. I just want to just really emphasize that there's no glass ceiling. So you come into an organization where you define your own destiny. You define how far you want to go. My initial goal when I started the business with doTERRA was, I want to just get extra money to pay for my kids' private school. Now I was able to accomplish that, but you know what that done? It's said, oh my gosh, Shannon, you could do so much more. Let's go. I'm coming from a generation where my father said, Shannon, all you have to do is get a good government job. And I listened to my father, and I did just that. And then, so this journey was not an easy journey because it looked weird. It felt weird. And then the more and more I traveled this journey, I realized that it's just so much more to be had, and that your limitation is the limitations you place upon yourself. And so when Magda said there's a high school dropout, there's a single mom, there's a Columbia graduate, there's a PhD, all in one room, all attaining the same, that shows you that you're where you are, your circumstances does not have to define where you will go.
Thank you so much. So now please let me know very granularly and very particularly for listeners who are listening to you and saying, I would like to become, potentially become a doTERRA wellness advocate. What exactly, I want details and step-by-steps, what was the sign-up process like? So I'm hearing the $100, I'm hearing being educated, but this is all vague. Were there other expenses involved?
Okay.
Were the classes, did you have to pay for the classes? What were the step-by-step steps?
This is
okay.
Magda, so I'll start it and Shannon probably will finish it off. So it's literally someone introducing, like Shannon introduced it to me. So when Shannon had the class at her house, she invited me. And with that invitation...
Wait, can I say I wasn't an advocate at the time?
So
Okay.
she was just a friend. She was just inviting me because someone was facilitating it in her home. And I went. I was curious about the oils, so I purchased the Breathe oil, but I purchased a kit. So after the class, they teach you about all the different oils and all of their different usage. So with that, I purchased a kit. With that kit comes the membership. So the membership by itself is $35. With the kit, I bought a kit of 10 oils. It was $150 plus tax and shipping. So you're saying maybe $178, just to be particular, just to be specific, $178. And that allowed me to open up my own account. So with the opening of my own account, it allowed me to purchase on a monthly basis, based on the package that I purchased, I can start off with a 20% give back, a 5% give back, or a 10% give back.
Well, we don't want to confuse
What is
everyone.
the give back?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's just percentage you get back after you purchase. So that's one portion of it.
But let me just clarify that. Let me clarify that, please. So the 20%. So as you are a customer, the more and more you purchase, like every month, it's like a rewards program. So it's simply as you would go at any store and like a Walgreens or whatever, you swipe your little card. Every time you purchase, you get a little percentage back. That's what she's referring to. But essentially, you just come on either with a $35 membership and you purchase the oils, which the $35 membership gives you wholesale ability. So you can get all your oils at 25% off for the whole year. You can do that as a customer or what have you. When you decide to flip and become a wellness advocate, all you have to do is provide doTERRA with your Social Security, because if you make over $600 in a year by tax laws, they have to provide you with the 1099. That's really the basis of it. Your obligation in the business, because doTERRA wants you to be a product of the product, you have to use the product. You have to spend a minimum of $100 approximately a month. When I say approximately, it's 100 PV, which is product volume. So it comes to be like $100 a month. And that's simply what I tell people is go around your home. doTERRA has a full catalog of different things. Moisturizers, shampoo, conditioners. Find something that you don't mind trading out using all natural products. It doesn't always have to be essential oils. Get to know what using non-toxic products is around your home, on yourself. Start cleaning out yourself. We take in a level of toxicity with just using chemicals all day long. So it's inviting you to live a natural and free life as well. And they want you to do that, right? Because you have to be a representative of their company. So that's basically it. That's the only obligation. I know it seems like it's far and it's not true and it's all, but I tell anybody who is starting or in the path of entrepreneurship, and I'm going to speak for myself in a second, because a brick and mortar will cost a lot for a lot of people, and it's discouraging for individuals to start up a business. So here at doTERRA, if you just want to get the ground rolling and just gain some experience in managing a business, you have the operations covered, you have the marketing covered, you have the tools covered, you have a tangible item, and you're learning product education, and you also are getting paid for your services. Once you amass the amount of income that you want, then you can start your own business, and guess what? Your operational expenses expenses is going to be nil to none, because now you have a residual income stream coming in. So
I'm sorry, what do you mean by your operational expenses?
well,
would be
to run
0
a business, so if you have, so what we like individuals to do, similar to how I did with my company, we didn't talk about that yet. You can merge your passion with the essential oil. So let's say you have a yoga studio, you want to do a yoga, right? And you've been teaching this. Now in your yoga studio, you can have the essential oils there, but now you already have a client base. You have a client base that can attend not only your yoga, but continue your customers. You can educate them. You can purchase product from the shelf, and it's going to be it's going to pay your rent.
This is a great example. So you're saying that basically for about $135 the first month, and for $100 in products that you may have already been purchasing, right? Because you
Absolutely.
purchase oils for your family, you purchase shampoo, you purchase conditioner. So it's for just $135 initially, and then $100 commitment in terms of purchasing products, you can become a doTERRA wellness advocate. And if you have other dreams or other aspirations, it will serve as a base for that, because you already will develop a client base. And additionally, for you, you're a life coach, you can tell some of your clients you're feeling anxious before your interview. Here is this aromatherapy that will help you to calm your nerves. So you go into that interview and you knock it out of the park. You can merge your essential oils business with even other businesses that you have.
Absolutely.
And I just want to say it's a little cheaper than what you said in the beginning. So yes, it's $35 for a membership. But if you decide in the beginning that you just want to purchase a $10 oil, then that's fine. It's not $135 to start with. You can choose a kit if you want, or choose one oil. The membership is $35. That's it. And you then pick the item that you want.
And it's
Yes, but if you wanted to become a wellness advocate, wouldn't you have to commit to $100 in
After
per
that,
month?
the following.
After that. Okay.
You can start with whatever you want to start with, even if
Okay.
it's just the $35 membership.
So $35 is
A year.
A year
Yes.
is membership to just be on the website and purchase their
Yeah.
products or
Yes.
purchase from other people. And then after you pay that $35 membership per year, if you want to become a wellness advocate, it's a commitment of $100 a month in products.
Yes.
And then
Okay.
you talked about the classes. You wanted to know, was there any payments for that? So we have different members. So, and I'm just using a term of Presidential Diamond. They might be hosting a class in Manhattan at the Sheraton, and it might cost $10 to attend that class. So it's different fees for different classes, but is nothing, I would say,
It's nothing too expensive.
yeah, it's nothing too expensive.
It's very nominal.
Very, very, very nominal. And then some of them are free. Like, with someone that comes on and say, Magda, I want to be a wellness advocate. I am here to support you 100%. So anything that you need, I can provide, I provide. Because yes, it benefits my business, and also it helps you. I'm here to give you the tools that you need the same way somebody provided it for me.
Wonderful. Okay, so now please tell us very briefly, because we're running out of time, what do you believe have been the greatest challenges and greatest rewards with respect to your doTERRA essential oils entrepreneurship?
My greatest challenge was myself. That's really it. And my greatest challenge was accepting fully and full out that I wanted to come out there and introduce essential oils to people, even though my heart was really in it. Is when you walk this path when it's unpopular, the resistance for people that you can get sometimes keeps you in fear. And so I had to learn that. And Magda talked about the self-development part of it. This is what I got. And so that's it. You realize the limitation is your limitations.
Magda?
Yeah. Thank you. The biggest challenge was having my community understand that there was a need for it. So sometimes the conversation is difficult within your community when you're trying to, help or provide information to others about different ways of entrepreneurship. And because of the stigma with multi-level marketing, it became more of a struggle to express or articulate those messages to individuals would benefit greatly from it. So that was one of my challenges, because I wanted to help, but there was a barrier trying to get my community to understand that. And the biggest reward is the self-development, like Shannon said, that I got out of it, and knowing how powerful I can be.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I know, I completely understand. I mean, I know people who call multi-level marketing, they refer to it as pyramid schemes, Ponzi schemes. There's a lot of resistance. And then additionally, people are set in their mind regarding, I'm sick, I go to a doctor with a white coat who has a medical degree, and they give me a prescription, and I go to CVS. You two lovely ladies are introducing a whole nother way of thinking. And so clearly that's going to feel revolutionary and seem revolutionary to many. So now before we go, please just tell our listeners how they can keep in touch with you. So Shannon first, please.
You can contact me at Shannon Feggins, Feggins, that's F as in Frank, at visionserenity.com. And my number is 516-427-4200.
Can you please say the email and phone number again?
Sure, no problem. Shannon, SHANNON, F as in Frank, EGGIN as in Nancy, S as in Sam, at visionserenity.com, 516-427-4200.
Hello, my name is Magdalene Campbell. You can reach me at magdalonep@aol.com. That's M as in Mary, A as in Apple, G as in good, D as in David, A as in Apple, L as in long, O as in one, N as in Nancy, I as in ice, E as in excellent, P as in Peter at AOL.com. My phone number is 347-563-3834. Again, that number is 347-563-3834. The email address is Magdalone, MAGDALONIEP as in Peter at AOL.com.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. This concludes How to Make It in the City. We are grateful for the expertise and experience of health advocates and essential oil entrepreneurs Magdalene Campbell and Shannon Feggins. Thanks so much for listening. I am your host, Ama Karikari Yawson Esquire, author of Sune's Gift and educator. I'd love to visit your school, corporation, or organization, so please feel free to contact me at AMA, at WBAI.org. Again, that's AMA, at WBAI.org. You can also call me at 347-886-2026. Again, 347-886-2026. Please also contact me if you are an entrepreneur and visionary in this city and you would like to be on the show. Please support the uplifting work of this show and station. We need your help. This is a listener-supported station. We need you desperately. So please go to www.wbai.org and sign up to be a WBAI buddy today. For just $10 a month, you can support the uplifting work of this station. You can do it in the name of any show, including, of course, this show, How to Make It in the City. Please go to www.wbai.org and become a buddy today. Also, please go to the website to listen to prior episodes of this show. You don't have to be up at 4 a.m. Just go to the website. Thank you so much for listening. Until next week, I'm wishing you all love, joy, health, peace, and prosperity. Be well, loved ones.